That's original. And Yo-Yo Man is making right there. So what?
How this affects Edmond?
My name's Larry Stevens, and the event affects Edmond because it brings people in. It brings people to our community. People get to see our community, enjoy our community, and spend money in our community. So we are tickled to death. We're fortunate that we got a good day. I'm just very fortunate that I happen to know these guys, and they invited me to serve on the team. I've done it a few times before, our team with the Knights of Columbus, so we've had a great time.
Hi, I'm Shannon Price. I'm with the Edmond Fine Arts Institute, and we are running our first rhythm, cues, and blues competition here in Edmond, Oklahoma. And this was an idea that was brought to us by one of our board members who, after being at a few different barbecue events, thought that the art of barbecuing would fit perfectly with our organization and what we do and bringing more creativity to our community. So here we are. And part of what we're doing is we have our kids that are here that are painting little ceramic pigs. We have face painting. We have clay creations going back on the trees. And so we want to give the community an opportunity to experience all these different art projects. And it's good exposure for us as the Art Institute for the community and what we do. This being our first event, we have been really fortunate in that we have 40 contestants, and it's beautiful weather. We've had a great day, great turnout, tons of judges. I couldn't be more pleased with the first time event. Part of running this event, some of our trials and tribulations with this has been figuring out water and electric for all of our contestants. We thought it was really important to be able to provide that. And, you know, to put on an event of this size, getting the judges and getting the volunteers and the manpower to do it is a lot of work, and it takes a huge team, a huge committee of people to put this together. I had over 15 people on our committee, and they all had different jobs that they did to make this all work out, and it has come together beautifully in the end, but it definitely was a lot of work.
Hi, I'm Chris Price, and I'm the certified barbecue judge myself and in charge of the judges today at our contest. We're happy to have all these guys from all over the place, guys and gals from all over the place, and it was a lot more difficult than I originally thought going into this, trying to organize and get all the emails and get everybody situated and find out how many people we had. We had 61 people that I had confirmed, and we only needed 49 places, but ultimately it worked out like most things do. So, but up until the last minute, you just never know what's going to happen, and we've had a beautiful day, beautiful weather, and great support from all of our sponsors, and certified judges all love the venue and are happy. So the judges meeting's going on right behind me. We're real excited to have everybody out here. And
all right, here we are in Edmond, Oklahoma at Hafer Park, representing at the barbecue competition going on here. I'm with the Rib Crib Pigman team, Mike Bannister, Goggles, along with Pop-Up and head chef Matt Thompson, or better known as Mattress. And we're representing Rib Crib. We're based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We do about 15 competitions a year. Looking for our first win this year, and we're going to do that right here in Edmond, Oklahoma today. And today we're going to be serving pork, chicken, St. Louis ribs, and what I missed? Sliced brisket. We'll be serving that to the judges for our competition. And then for People's Choice today, we're going to be serving brisket, and it's going to be fantastic, and I hope everybody gets to come out.
All right, welcome to Edmond, Oklahoma. We are smoking down here. We are Cattle Creek Barbecue out of Kansas City, Kansas. This is my partner, Steve Sessions. Say hi, Steve.
How's it going?
We normally do about 18 contests a year. We try to do 3 a month. This is our first one south of Kansas City. So I'll let Steve tell you a little bit about what we got going on down here.
Well, we made the trek down from Kansas City, Cattle Creek Barbecue. I own a company called Signature Sausage Company. We make 15 different kinds of sausage, do a little vending, a lot of fun, a little bit of drinking. Come down here, see if we can get the judges liking Kansas City style barbecue. A little sloppy mess, good sauce, good fun.
Hi, my name is John Atkerson. I've got the Okie John Kunobi cooking team here. Usually cook about 4 or 5 contests a year. Don't get too involved in it there. Got a Oklahoma Joe cooker here I cook on, and in the meantime, when I'm not doing this, which is most of the other time, I work at Tinker Air Force Base, 911 dispatcher for the fire department out there.
Cooking here at Rhythm Blues here in Edmond, and I got my son here. It's already won a championship in this KCBS cook-off. It's a pulp-up probably about 5 or 6 years ago, but he's going to help me today. And then I got my brother Brett Clark over here, my wife Lisa Clark, and Jordan is my son's girlfriend. But we're getting ready to go on it. We got everything in the pit. We got our wood in there, a little pecan and some hickory for the brisket right now we're running, and we've got a pretty good group here to be competing against today. So hopefully we get something done in the right direction on winning the championship today.
Have you ever been to the Royal or ever been to the Jack?
Well, we won Jack twice and won the Royal once, so we've been around. We're on a kind of like a downward spiral right now, trying to come back up with all this new rub coming around. So we're trying to find the right niche right now to get something going, and we've been to 5 cook-offs this year and only got 1 reserve, so we're trying to do a little bit better right now. I'm Bart Clark, chief cook here with Twin Oaks Smoking Crew, Stillwater, Oklahoma, and we've been doing this about 19 years.
Hello everybody, my name is David Bosca. I'm with Team Butcher Barbecue. My brother Martin cooks with me. We're from Chandler, Oklahoma. We are in Edmond, Oklahoma at Rhythm Q's and Blues Barbecue. We buy all of our meat at Sam's Club except for our briskets. We do use Creekstone briskets or chicken we get at the local grocery store because I like to get it as fresh as possible. Wish everybody good luck this weekend and hope they have a good time.
Hi, we're Butt Lovers Barbecue. I am from Ardmore, Oklahoma, and my partner's from Yukon, Oklahoma. My name is Brian Marr, and I am the official beer drinker of the team. And then we have Michael Payne as our head cook. We do about 5 or 6 competitions a year, mainly in the Oklahoma, Kansas area. Normally during the week, I am a contract plumber, and my partner is a golf course superintendent here at a local golf course.
Number 1 was very, very tender, almost too tender, a little overcooked on that one. It did have a real sweet flavor that complemented the meat real well. Number 2 had perfect tenderness. It bit real clean, also a real sweet flavor. Number 3 had great tenderness as well, a little soft. That one kind of had a honey flavor that I really enjoyed. Number 4 had great texture as well. It had an excellent smoke flavor that really was what you look for in good barbecue, a good smoke. Number 5 had a great spice to it. And I'm not really keen on real spiciness, but that one really complemented the meat real well. And then number 6, that one almost had kind of a buffalo type flavor that I really liked. Also real great texture.
With number 1, can you hear me? I like the flavor of it and kind of the glaze on it, and I thought it was really good. Is that okay? Number 2 there, it was quite tender, and it just flaked a lot more, I think, than the other one. And I liked the glaze on it and thought it was very good.
On number 1, it was kind of spicy. Mine was a little tough. Number 2, it was sweet and tender chicken. Number 3 was my favorite. It was a sweet and tangy. It was very tender, bite through skin. Number 4 was my least favorite. It was kind of spicy and a tough skin. Number 5 was pretty spicy. And number 6 was spicy and it was a little tough on the skin.
Number 1 was the juiciest on my plate. Had a great flavor. Number 2 was very good. It was had a sweet sauce with it. Tasted like honey to me. Number 3 was my favorite. It was juicy, had great texture. The sauce complemented the meat. Number 4 was a little dry on my plate. The flavor came through, but the texture was dry. Number 5 was a little spicy. Still tender meat, still juicy. It was very good. And number 6 was a mixture, a little bit spicy, a little bit sweet, very juicy, flavorful to me.
Overall, I thought the chicken samples today were excellent, very high quality, and it's a credit to the cooks, and made it very difficult to compare individually. It was just a great sample of chicken. My number 1 sample, I thought the flavor was excellent. All the appearances in all these samples were very good. Where I downgraded, I gave 8s versus 9s, and that was for sizing. Some of the pieces were slightly smaller, but overall presentation was just excellent. Sample 1, I thought the flavor was very good. Sample 2, which was my favorite, was very moist. It had a good flavor. Sample number 3 was spicy, slightly smoky, very good. Sample 4 was an excellent sample. Sample 5, I'm sorry. It was slightly dry, but that was the difference between an 8 and a 9. My 6th sample was very good, had good flavor profiles. All of them had good meat flavor, and it was a great contest. Thanks to the cooks.
I thought today's chicken samples were all good. It's unusual on a contest to get 6 great samples. Usually there's a big difference between at least 1 or 2 of them. But these were all great. They were all good and tender, had good flavor, some spicier than others. My favorite one was number 5. It was cooked perfectly, wasn't overpowering on flavor, and was the best out of the 6.
Okay. Out of these 6, I think my favorite was probably this one over here. You can see that was perfect tenderness. Color was good. Can't tell, but the flavor was good. Probably at the bottom end was this one here. I suspect this is somebody's first attempt at barbecue competition. This is a backyard rib, if you will. They didn't really trim it up. It doesn't have a lot of additional flavor to it, and it was just kind of done, but not really that good. I mean, it was fine for a backyard rib, but not here. This one here had good color, good glaze, overdone. Most of the meat came off. Flavor was pretty good. This one here was a little bit overdone, got too much meat in each mouthful. Color was a little odd, kind of orange, and there was a flavor in there that I couldn't quite identify. I had no idea what it was. It wasn't unpleasant, but it was all right. This one here, really nice finish to the outside. I think that was the best appearance score I gave. A little bit tough, just a little bit. And you can see how it left a little behind as compared to this one here. Good flavor though. This one here, a little overdone. Had a pretty nice finish, decent taste, but all in all, number 6 took it.
Okay.
All right, we'll start out with the first one. Had a great honey taste. The glaze on it was nice. Overall taste was good. The second one, a little bit undercooked. A little bit heavily smoked for my taste. The third one, I thought overall was very tender. Had a great flavor. The fourth one, probably one of the best looking ribs out of the 6. It was a little bit undercooked, but overall great flavor. Number 5 had a little bit of spice to it, but yet again mine was undercooked, a little bit too tough. And then the 6th one, overall great taste. Yet again a little bit undercooked in my opinion, but the best would be number 3, and the worst would be number 2.
Number 1 was good. It had a sweet flavor to it, but it was lacking the heat at the end. It was overcooked. Mine was. It fell off the bone when I bit into it. Number 2, it was really bland. Didn't have a lot of flavor to it. Not a long, strong smoke flavor or anything like that. It was the least favorite of the 6. Number 3 had a nice flavor, but it was more heat than anything. Didn't have a lot of barbecue flavor to it. Tenderness was nice on it. Number 4, looks like what I got was one of the ends. It's basically just the rib tips all I got, so I didn't get a good taste of this one. Didn't have a lot of flavor to this one either. Didn't appreciate it. Number 5 had good flavor, nice tenderness. Not very strong taste though. I wished it would have had a little more sauce on it. Number 6 was my favorite. Had a nice flavor to it. Had the nice barbecue up front with a nice heat in the back after you finished eating it.
Number 1 presented the best in the box, although after taking a bite of it and finding out that it was only the bones about 1.25 inches long, it looks like they had chopped and got the top of the rib tip and not the actual full spare. Taste was good. Flavor on texture or tenderness was a little bit overcooked. It kind of came right off. Number 2 was probably my favorite as what I would cook when I was at home for the family. Doesn't have a lot of sauce on it. It's a little dry. It's the full length spare rib. It hadn't been cut down to the St. Louis. Nice. It came off the bone, but just didn't have a whole lot of taste zap to it like we'd expect in competition. Number 3 is more of a looks like a baby back rib. A lot of meat on that thing. Looks like it was overcooked. The meat just fell off of it. Had decent flavor to it on taste. Number 4 presented very well in the box as well, other than the uneven cutting on it from rib to rib. It looked like they didn't square everything up. The taste was a little grainy with whatever was on the dry rub. It just still did not meld into the ribs really good. It pulled away from the bone a little too easy as well. Number 5 had a nice taste to it, tenderness. This was a little bit tougher. It had a harder time pulling away from the bone. Presented okay in the box. And number 6 had a very smooth taste, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of heat in the end, pulled away from the bone, and it's a nice cut, St. Louis cut. Really enjoyed it.
Number 1 had a very good taste. It pulled away from the bone nicely, was not overcooked. It was cooked very well. I liked that one. That was my favorite one. Number 2 did not pull away from the bone. It was a little dry, and the meat was tough. Taste was not there. Could not really taste the meat. Number 3 was overcooked. Had a great taste. Pulled away from the bone well, but was overcooked a little bit. Number 4 had great taste, but didn't quite taste the smokiness of the meat. It was more of a tomato taste. Could just really taste the sauce. Did not pull away from the bone as much as I would like, and so the tenderness was not there. Number 5, tenderness was not there at all. Had a chewy taste to it. Thought that the taste was okay. And number 6 had very good tenderness and very good taste. So my favorite one was number 1, and my least favorite was number 2.
Number 1, I found had a great appearance. It was very consistent in color and looked very tender in the box. Coming out of the box, it was very tender, looked very moist as you squeezed the meat a little bit. It fell off the bone fairly easily, but not overcooked. Number 2 looked like it was very roughly handled going into the box. It was very inconsistent in cut and looked jagged. Also, it appeared to be very dry when it came out. A little charcoaly flavor, a little lighter fluid flavor maybe, probably from over smoking. Number 3 looked nice, had a great appearance. It looked moist, but was actually a little overcooked. Meat tended to disintegrate at the top of your palate when you rubbed it with your tongue. Number 4 had a nice appearance in the box, but the meat had little flavor. The sauce was pretty heavy tomato based, so that overtook any other flavors that I might have tasted. Number 5 was a very tender, very tough cut. It would not pull from the bone. It didn't look bad. It looked nice in the box, but just was very tough, and it wasn't a very thick piece of meat, so it didn't have a lot of flavor either. Number 6, in the box, it looked very nice, very consistent in color, looked as if it was very moist. Upon tearing it from the bone, it looked very juicy. Meat still had some, some consistency or some bind to it, so it didn't fall apart as if it were overcooked. So my favorite was number 1. My least favorite was number 2. And
did not like the flavor. The texture was okay. Number 2, again, I wasn't crazy about the flavor and I thought it was a little dry. Number 3, I thought had a wonderful flavor. Tenderness was good. Number 4 was very good. It wasn't dry. And I thought number 5 was overcooked but had a good flavor.
Number 1, I like the flavor. I think it was a little dry. Same for number 2. It was okay, but I also thought it was a little bit dry. 3 was good, it had good tenderness, and the flavor was good. 4 had good flavor. I think the tenderness was good also. And 5 was a little overcooked, but the flavor was really good.
Okay. Overall, I thought all of them were quite good. Number 1, I thought had a good flavor. I also thought it was dry. Number 2, I thought had a good flavor and was a little dry. Number 3, I thought it had a very good flavor, and I thought the moisture was good. Number 4, I thought it was a fine flavor, but wasn't one that I particularly cared for personally. Number 5 was my favorite. I thought it had an excellent flavor to it, and maybe a little on the dry, but it seemed to have a nice texture on the sliced piece.
Number 1, I thought it was kind of dry. Flavor just wasn't there. Number 2, it was also dry. Didn't have much flavor. Number 3 was a little bit better. Wasn't as dry as the others. Had a little more flavor. Number 4 was pretty well cooked and didn't have a whole lot of flavor, but number 5 was excellent. It was 9 all the way.
Oh, I agree. Number 1 was a little dry. It had good flavor and texture, but it was a little dry. Number 2 definitely was lower as far as quality. It was too dry and not a lot of flavor there built into it. Number 3 was good. It had good tenderness and it was moist. Number 4 was good. It had some bark in it, and which added to the flavor, and it was good and moist. And of course, number 5, hands down, best flavor, best appearance.
contestant number one, the presentation wasn't as attractive as I thought it would be. I judge with my eyes first for the appearance, and if it just looks sloppy or it just doesn't look organized, then I tend to downgrade him just a little bit on that. I judged him an 8 on it. It probably should have been closer to a 7, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt. The second one, it was really attractive in the box, looked nice. I scored a higher number for that one. It looked appetizing. Same with number 3. Number 3 looked a little disorganized, so I downgraded on that. Number 4 was really attractive in the box. It got a higher number. I scored a 9 with it. And the last one, number 5, it looked okay, but it just didn't look like it had the right color or the right amount of whatever it is on the meat. It just didn't look appetizing. So again, I judged with my eyes. Number 1, the tenderness was all right. The flavor was fairly decent, not very bad. Number 2, the same. Even though the tenderness on it was really great, the flavor was actually fairly decent. Number 3, the same there. Very tender, very nice, good robust taste. Number 4 had the best taste to me. I rated a 9 across the board on that one. The tenderness was great. The flavor was great. The tray just looked very appetizing. I wanted to eat it when I first saw it. The 5th one, the tenderness was really great. It pulled apart. Everything was nice on it, but it just did not have the flavor. I don't know what type of seasoning they used on it, but it just didn't have a true barbecue flavor.
You don't say your name or nothing, right? No. Okay. Number 1, as far as appearance goes, I thought was not too appetizing because of the way they spread their sauce on their meat. I think they should have either brushed the sauce down to where it looked even or left it off. I mean, so number 1, I gave it like a 6 on appearance. You want me to do all appearance first or just
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How you score? What you thought about each one? Which was your favorite?
Okay. Number 1 had a surprisingly good flavor. I think it was better than what I thought it was from the appearance anyway, and it was fairly tender. Number 2, I thought it was, appearance was very good. Actually, I thought the tenderness was right on, and I thought it was a killer flavor. I think I 9'd that one on taste and 8 on the tenderness. You know, that's the kind of brisket I'd like to be turning in right there. Number 3, it also was appetizing in appearance. It looked good. I believe it got 8s all the way across from me. I liked the flavor. It was fairly tender. And then number 4, it also looked good. I think it got a 7 on appearance. It got 8 on flavor and 8 on tenderness. And then the last one, I thought it looked fine. I believe it got a 7 on appearance, 8 on tenderness, even though it might have been a little overdone. I was probably a little generous there, but I thought it was way, way too salty. So on flavor, I gave it a 7. Okay?
Okay, on number 1 for me, I didn't like the jagged edges on the cut of the meat. It looked a little dry, and the sauce had a tomato ketchup flavor to it. The second one was just average across the board. It looked okay in the box, a little bit overcooked, but not too much, and the flavor was okay. I really liked number 3, except you can tell on this portion it looked dried out on the ends. That's what got it to 7 on the appearance, but the taste and the tenderness were really good on that one. On the 4th one, I scored really high on it. It had good appearance, it had good flavor, and it had good tenderness. And number 7 was average across the board with 7s. It looked okay in the box, a little bit overcooked, and it seemed to be saturated in some kind of a marinade, which took away some of the flavor.
Yes, going back to number one, again, the appearance wasn't quite what it could have been. It was a little jagged looking. It wasn't real smooth. The appearance in the box, and that kind of detracted from it. Again, the flavor on mine, it just wasn't there, and it seemed to have a lot of ash or charcoal on it. Had a flavor, an off flavor to it that just really didn't appeal to me, so it got downgraded from there. That's probably my least favorite cut piece of meat that was served. Number two, again, looked beautiful in the box. Great appearance. The flavor was good, but it wasn't great, but it was really good, and the texture was really good. It was up there. It was probably my second favorite piece of meat, but number three to me was just the best piece of meat that was served. It was, again, the appearance in the box was nice. Looked really good. The meat, the flavor was good, especially in the bark. The bark added a great deal of flavor to it. The only knock I had on it was just a little bit dry, and so I knocked it down just a little bit on texture, but just slightly on that. Number four was, again, a real close piece of meat there. The flavor was good, especially in the little burnt in, and the sauce that they provided for it actually probably helped it a little bit, because, again, the texture was a little overdone, I think, on that, but it looked beautiful in the box, and the presentation was excellent, I think. And then we go to number five. Again, the presentation was good. It looked nice in the box, but the taste, there was just something about the flavor in it that brought it down, and to me it was overcooked and a little dried and overdone, and so for that the tenderness got marked down slightly because of that.
Number one was difficult to pull apart. It was undercooked and a bit chewy. The sauce didn't seem to complement any part of the meat, and the sauce itself wasn't very good and just didn't seem to be like it should have been there at all. Number two was overcooked. It pulled way too easily, and the rub seemed to leave an aftertaste that just didn't seem to go with the meat very well. Number two, it pulled easy. It had a good taste. It might have been a little dry, but that could have just been from being in the box for a while. Number four, the burnt end was delicious. The slice was possibly a little bit dry, maybe a little overcooked, and that may have been why they sliced it so thick, was so that it wouldn't fall apart. And number five had a good flavor. It too was possibly overcooked, but it was something that I would probably eat again.